Hello everybody and welcome to another video update, the June edition. I don't know if you can see, but it's a bit hot in here. It's 20 degrees outside, which means it's warmer inside, and it's 10 past 10 at night. It's been a very warm day today. Anyway, I have come back from football this evening, and I thought, do you know what, I fancy having a bit of I say rant, is probably not the right word, but just a kind of a video update where I express just how much of a crappy year 2022 has been so far, and basically how I'm trying my best to soldier on despite what the hell's been thrown at me. I mean, when I look at things in the grand scheme of things, you know, you've got to put something into perspective. There's probably people out there, well, there's not probably, there is people out there probably suffering far worse than I am with some, you know, serious illness and things like that. But nonetheless, you know, it's still not been the greatest of years. So, what's 2022, you know, had in store for me so far? Well, in January, as you will know, I ended up being diagnosed with having 2 blood clots in my lungs out of the blue, which meant then I had to be put on anticoagulant medication, and that meant that I had to stop playing football whilst I was on the medication, and was told by the doctors that I would be on the medication for 3 months, would have a follow-up appointment after 3 months, and they would assess whether or not, you know, I had to be on these pills for life. And that was what I was told in January. So fast forward to kind of mid-ish April, I was still waiting for the doctors to have this follow-up appointment with me. I rung them because I hadn't heard anything, and then that was obviously more than 3 months, and they said, "Oh, there's been a misunderstanding. You should have been told you were going to be on the pills for 6 months, or up to 6 months," I think she said, not 3. And at that point, you know, I'd already geared myself up to be playing football after 3 months. I'd been stood watching people play football for 3 months. And therefore, when I was told that it was going to be another 3 months on top, because it's been a misunderstanding, I decided that obviously I was going to play football. Because I'm not, you know, I'm mentally prepared to return to play football, so I'm going to play football, basically. So I ended up going back to play football. But as things currently stand, I'm still on the pills. I'm still waiting for one final blood test, which I'm going to have in 2 weeks' time, and actually just about a week and a half's time, and then I'll have to wait 4 weeks for the results to come back, which is to rule out any underlying health concerns, health disease issues that they don't know about, such as kind of bone marrow disorders that can cause blood clots and other little things like that. Once that's done, I will still have a decision to make, because the doctor said, even if everything is clear and the blood clots are gone, because you've had a blood clot, you are still going to be in a very, in a high risk category. You're in an increased risk of getting more, and therefore you will have a choice. You can either stay on 10 milligrams, the lowest dose of the pills that I'm taking now. I'm currently taking 20 milligrams for life. You can take 10 milligrams for life, or you can come off them, but it's your choice. And without even batting an eye, missing a beat, I said, I'll come off them then, shall I? Because I'm not going to stay on these pills for life. I'm not taking pills for life. I will take the risk. I will live with the risk. But what I will do is, at times of heightened risk of being, you know, stationary, like on a long-haul flight or on a long coach journey where I'm going to be sat down for long periods of time, I'll take, you know, the pills, you know, 2 days before that and 2 days after to mitigate the risk when I'm doing activity, well, lack of activity, but when I'm doing something that puts me at a risk of being stationary for a long time, which means that obviously clots could form in your legs and stuff. So that's my plan. So I'm still not given the all clear yet. So I'm still going through that, and it's now June. So that's been ticking away in the background and, you know, going on. So that was the first thing that 2022 slapped me in the face with. And then in May, I ended up having might as well say, fallout with a friend that I've been friends with for, how many years did I say it was? About 14 years. Good friends with for probably about 8 years. Over the most petty reason She ended up flying off the handle, sending a load of messages, a long spiel of messages, basically saying, hey, this, that, and the other, and how I'm a bad friend, and blah, 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 blah. And then she blocked me. And then about 4 or 5 days later, she unblocked me. Maybe hoping that I would ring her back or message her back and say, look, can we speak about this again? And I thought, no, I'm not going to be spoken to like that. And if that's what you think of me after 14 years of friendship, 7 years of good friendship, then unless you approach me, I ain't speaking to you again. And that was in May, around about May the 20-something, and it's now June the 20-something. A month later, she hasn't been in touch, and I seriously doubt she will be. So, yeah, that happened in May. And to put it into context, I went to this person's house every Friday, pretty much, almost without fail. We'd take turns cooking, we'd watch movies, we'd play board games together, we'd have a right laugh and a joke. She was the one that encouraged me to go on the chase. We'd routinely, go out to events across the country, Comic-Cons, concerts, other events in Manchester, in Liverpool. We travel all over. We went to Cornwall in September. Spent a week in Cornwall in a caravan. With barely, got on like a house on fire as we always do. So it's as much as I am going to stick by my guns. It's probably hit me a little bit harder than I thought, because towards back in May, early June, I took a break from LPing because I wasn't feeling quite on song, wasn't feeling quite on form, feeling a little bit down. Wanted to take a bit of a break from recording and streaming because I wasn't feeling on top of things, and probably that had something to do with it. Because as much as I thought to myself, well, I'm not upset about it. A good friend of 14 years, of 7 years rather. Friend of 14. Suddenly, friendship ends just like that, and over something so minor that. And I'm not just saying this because I'm taking the moral high ground here, but it was really an overreaction on her part about something that I did that was not even worth anything other than a conversation, and an apology. Let's move on. But anyway, so that has led to me getting down a little bit, and then in June, June the what are we now? 23rd, June the 3rd. Yeah, June the 3rd. Yeah, June the 3rd. I'm trying to think, when did I go on holiday? Yeah, June the 3rd. Happy days. Holiday time. Let's unwind. Let's go on holiday. I've not been on a holiday since November 2019, other than the short staycations here and there and whatever else. I've not had 2 weeks off work since November 2019. That's almost it's coming up to 3 years, pretty much 2.5 years, just over 2.5 years. Never having more than 2 weeks off at work, more than a week off at a time at work, no holidays abroad, really missing the sun and everything else. So I was like, yes, party time, back on a cruise, June the 3rd, I'm going to get on that cruise, I'm going to enjoy myself, eat myself to death, I'm going to drink, I'm going to enjoy, back in the spa, read my Witcher books, and have a grand old time. And, obviously some of you know this already, but got struck down with tonsillitis. Went on the cruise, had a sore throat when on the sort of first, second day. Knew it wasn't COVID because I'd tested. It was getting worse and worse by the Tuesday got on the Friday, the 3rd, by the Tuesday, so sort of 4 days later, the sore throat had got much worse. My throat felt like I was swallowing with razor blades. Food was getting stuck in the back of my throat. I was struggling to breathe if I was laid on my back. Starting to talk really strangely. Looked in my throat, saw loads of white pustule things, blobs on the back of my tonsils. My tonsils looked a bit, I'm not an expert, I'm not a doctor, but they looked a bit dodgy. Anyway, went to the doctors on the ship, got told, you've got acute tonsillitis. We need to give you injections now to take the swelling down because that is stage 3 and stage 4 is a medical emergency. So I had to, so couldn't eat properly, couldn't talk properly, couldn't really enjoy my food until Tuesday of the second week. And I was getting off on the Friday, so that would have left me with Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 3 days left of the holiday to enjoy my food, enjoy myself properly. Woke up on the Tuesday morning and thought to myself, after having this for now a week, just over a week, I actually feel a lot better. I feel like I can swallow things now and I can enjoy my food, and I get stuck into to stuff on the last 3 days. And then ended up on the Wednesday developing a heat rash. I'm not just talking a little rash here, I'm talking all over my body. My arms, both legs. My back was horrendous, my chest, a little bit on my face, but you couldn't see it too much on my face. It was absolutely horrendous. The only saving grace was it wasn't itchy, because if it was itchy, my whole body was covered, so it would have been an absolute nightmare. But it's like, yeah, I just recovered from tonsillitis, and now I look like this. And it was like, just get me home, please. Just get me home. I just want to be home now. I've had these 2 issues on holiday, and don't get me wrong, I had a good time. The weather was beautiful. It was around the Mediterranean on a cruise. I still managed to eat some things that were nice and tasty. Still could drink because liquids went down nice and smooth, even with a bad throat. And the rum, being an alcohol, actually it did help numb the back of the throat, even when my throat was bad. So yeah, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy my holiday, because I did. Still read my Witcher books. So yeah, still did enjoy it, but not as much as you would do ordinarily. And for the first time in my entire life, I went on holiday and came back a pound lighter. When I had norovirus on a cruise once, and I couldn't eat for sort of 5 days, and obviously a lot of diarrhea to spare you here, but I didn't even lose weight on that holiday. I put on 5 pounds still, but that was less than what I usually put on, because I usually put on about half a stone to 8 or 9 pounds or so on a proper full-blown men, holiday where I've let loose. So to lose a pound on holiday tells you how much I suffered. So that was that. So I came back and I thought to myself, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to book another cruise for November, because my mum needs a new hip. She went for a new hip in March. The operation was cancelled because of her blood sugar level being too high. So that was another saga. So we booked this cruise in June. We booked it in April, because we said, look, your operation's been cancelled, we might as well now go on holiday. We were putting off going on holiday until we knew what was happening with her hip, because obviously she has to have some recovery time. So she's been told now that she's going to have an operation for her hip imminently, so probably within the next sort of month or 2 tops, which means that by November she should be just about okay. So we'll book a cruise for sort of November time then. She said, yeah, that's not a problem. And also because I didn't feel like I've enjoyed this holiday quite so much, so I don't want to wait too long until the next one. So let's go again in November. Only 4 months away. Not that I'm counting it down. And so I went online yesterday and looked for some cruises and found the perfect one. Going to the Canaries, again from Southampton, 31st of October, so no flying, because my mum can't fly with a new hip, and I don't really wish to fly just yet until I know completely 100% sure that the blood clot situation is sorted. So we'll go from Southampton again, Canary Islands. It'll still be warm back end of October. It'll be lovely. And once again, the price was really, really cheap. I went to my friend's house yesterday, asked her, do you want to come on this cruise? Because, having a friend on the cruise other than your mother is great. My mother goes to bed early, I can go with my mate, go to the club, carry on drinking in the bars, have some great laugh and joke, and she likes the spa, I like the spa, we can go to the spa together, and it'll be great. She's been on a couple of cruises with us in the past. And she said, yeah, I do want to come. So I was like, great, yes. I'm going to have my friend coming with me. There's going to be 3 of us in the cabin, and because there's going to be 3 of us in the cabin, we can split the bill 3 ways, which means we can get a mini suite, which has a bedroom area in the cabin, has a separate sitting area and a balcony, which means there's going to be plenty of space for all of us. I can sleep in the sitting area on the sofa bed. I don't mind a good sofa bed. There's 2 separate TVs, one in the bedroom, one in the sitting room. So if my mum goes to bed early, we can retire to the sitting room, me and my friend, and still watch a film without disturbing my mother. It's going to be great. Absolutely fantastic. And the price is dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. So it's like, yeah, let's get involved in that. So she's booked her holidays. I've booked my holidays. Ready to rock and roll. Just need to book it. Go online. This cruise is no longer available. I'm like, what? I just checked. I just looked at this yesterday, priced it up, and the cruise was available. There was, I say plenty, there was a fair few cabins left. You know, the mini suites, I think there was about 8 mini suites left. I come to book it a day later, and now the cruise is not available. Excuse me. So we're going to have to ring our travel agents up tomorrow and ask her to ring the cruise company to find out whether it's a website issue or what, or have they literally pulled the cruise. Knowing my luck for 2022, they've pulled it because there's no other cruises that are quite suitable. I was trawling yesterday and this one was ideal. There was another one which we could go for but was a bit more pricey, and it wasn't on a ship that I would particularly wanted to go on. But if we've got no choice, we might not have no choice. So, yeah. But I couldn't believe it. I was like, for flip's sake. Anyway, so more 2022 woes. That's very much a first world problem, isn't it? But, and then to cap it all off, I go to play football today. I play football, as you well know, most of you, if not all of you, I play football. I love my football. I play 3 times a week. I play on a Sunday in a league, that's which I've played for which I've played in for 12 years, and I play for the same team. I play for the same team for 12 years. I play on a Tuesday, which is pretty much the same team that we played with on a Sunday, and I've played in that league for a couple of years because it's only been running for a couple of years. And I play on a Thursday. Today being Thursday, you'll be seeing this on a Friday. On Friday, and I've played in that league with the same team for 7 years, since 2015. So I'm a very loyal person. I stay with the same team, you know, through thick and through thin. And the team that I play for on a Thursday, we've not, even for 7 years, we've never been out of the top 2. We either win the league or we finish second, and that's been the case for the past 7 years. We've been a very good team. And then 2 seasons ago, so probably about 6 months ago, because maybe longer than that naturally. So the 2 seasons ago, we won the league again, and the manager turned around to me and said, "Look, next season, you know, so and so's leaving, so and so's not playing for us anymore, so and so's also leaving, is retiring. Therefore, we're not going to have a very good team for the first time since I've been here." So he turned around to me and said, "So if you want to leave next season, please feel free to do so. We're going to not be very good. You know, you're a good player. You deserve to be playing with a team that's towards the top of the table. Therefore, you know, go and play for another team if you wish. We wouldn't hold it against you." I was like, "No, that's not how I do business. You know, I'm not the kind of person to do that kind of thing. Just, you know, I've been with you for 7 years, and they took a chance on me because they didn't know who I was, and I was looking for a team 7 years ago because I just left the police and was looking for a team to play for, and they said, yeah, we'll give them a shot." So I was like, I've been very, very grateful to them for giving me that opportunity when they didn't even know who I was. So I said, no, through thick and thin, I'll play for you. You know, we may well get some players in the future and be back up again. But yeah, I'll take the rough with the smooth. If we end up finishing mid-table, bottom, whatever, I'm going to still play. You know, such is my loyalty. So played on last season, we finished 5th out of 8, or 5th out of 9. So sort of just mid-table-ish. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, but was as expected. And then this season again, it's going to be pretty much more of the same. And it has been pretty much more of the same. We started off to a really good start, but the past couple of games just starting to slip a little bit. But anyway, fast forward to today, and we were losing. We weren't playing very well. I had the most horrendous game. I'd obviously just come back off my holidays not so long ago. It was roasting hot, 28 degrees inside the bloody football place, and struggling for breath. And because I'm out of shape, because I haven't played football for 2 weeks, I wasn't fit. The rest of the team weren't playing very well. We were losing 3-0. It was just rubbish. We were playing crap. So one of our players decides that they want to, in their frustration, stamp on one of the other players whilst they were on the floor, which caused a fight to break out, which I never get involved with. And obviously I've never seen me play football, but you see my temperament through these videos. I'm the most mild-mannered person. I've very, 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 very rarely lose my temper on the football field. Somebody could kick me in the air and I won't even retaliate. I'll let the referee deal with it, and I just want to play football. I don't want to get involved in nonsense. I have been sent off once in my life when I lost my rag. You know, it was a very rare occurrence, and everybody was so shocked that I got sent off because it's something that I just don't do. But anyway, so he got sent off, as did the other player, because it started breaking out into a fight. And then the fight spread out into the corridor outside the pitch, and I'm there breaking this fight up, and I'm thinking to myself, what on earth? I do not need to be involved in this shit. And I'm going to swear now. I do not need to be involved in this shit. This same player got sent off in the cup final last season after he pulled somebody's beard in frustration. And then at the start of this season, I didn't play in this game because I was doing something. I can't remember what I was doing, but anyway, I wasn't there for the first game of the season. And he ended up pushing somebody into the boards or something, and he got sent off again. So it's like 3 times this has happened now, and fights breaking out, and then people kicking out in frustration, and then him shouting from the sidelines, "Go, take him out for me, take him out for me." And I'm thinking to myself, I do not want to be involved or associated with this kind of behaviour. It's I was never so embarrassed in my life to be involved in a match on a football pitch as I was this evening. And as much as I am a loyal person, I'm sorry, but I don't turn up to play football and then also be involved in that kind of nonsense. So I turned around to the manager of the team this evening, and I just said, "Look," he came over to me after the game, as he normally does. "Oh, that was bloody atrocious, wasn't it?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You know what, mate?" I said, "I'm done. I'm not playing anymore for you." So I can't be involved in that. And it's not, if it was the first time it happened, I'd understand. I'd be obviously a bit more relaxed about it. Wouldn't be happy, but fine. But it's the 3rd time in the space of 3 months that this has happened. I said, I don't want to be involved. I'm done. And it was like, "Oh, well, I respect your decision, but I'll ask you again when you've calmed down." I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not calm. I'm not distraught. I'm not blood boiling. I'm as calm as you want, and I'm not playing again for you. So I've come back this evening, and I sat and stood literally staring at a blank pitch because all the games had finished, and I was just stood staring into space, thinking to myself, as much as it's a decision that I'm happy-ish with, I've played for this team for 7 years, so it's not a decision that I've taken lightly. Yes, I've taken it, you could argue, in the heat of the moment, yes, but it's not a decision that I think is based on an emotional reaction. I think it's a very measured decision, but it's a difficult decision. And as I said, I'm a loyal person. He asked me, he gave me the blessing to leave the team not so long ago. But even now, I've made a decision. I'm still thinking. I'm still like, I do feel sad. I'm saddened by the fact that I've had to leave under these circumstances. But it is as it is. So I thought I'd give you an update as to 2022. So that's my 2022, folks. Not the best, is it, so far? So I'm hoping that maybe there's some good news to come in the second half of the year, because we're now past the halfway point, pretty much, aren't we? Summer solstice and all that and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, yeah, I hope your years have been better than mine. So we've been going for over 20 minutes. I didn't set a time for this one because I knew it was going to be a long and rambly thing. But as for the channel, let's get to some channel stuff before I sign off. Don't need to all be doom and gloom. Obviously, we're finishing Pathfinder Kingmaker. It's a long game. I have debated whether or not I was going to take a break from it and come back to it, but I don't like to do that because I'm in the mood for it. I'm still enjoying it, so why stop if you're still enjoying it? So we'll continue with that. I have obviously started Barbarian Invasion. Really looking forward to that playthrough, so we're going to be playing that. I am debating whether to start a 3rd series, but it might be too much to be able to keep all 3 ticking over with a degree of regularity, so we'll just stick with the 2 for now, see how that goes. But the good thing is, the Steam Summer Sale is now on. Go check out some games. And there's a good handful of games that I want to buy from the Steam Summer Sale, but I want to play on the channel. Somebody else is recommending The Quarry, which is like it's from the same people that made Until Dawn. I want to play that. I'm on the channel. However, it's $54.99, and I think it's the game's about 20 hours tops, maybe even less than that. I'm not paying $54.99 for a game that lasts less than 100 hours. Sorry about that. So when it comes down in price, I'll play it. But until then, no chance. The cost of games is atrocious right now. So yeah, lots of games on my kind of immediate list that I want to now suddenly play. You know, Plague Tale: Innocence, Democracy 4. There's a game called The Life of Sabranti or something like that. That looks like a really interesting streamable game. Other people have recommended another couple of games that I think, oh, that was interesting. There's still games on my list from ages gone by that I want to play. So there's plenty to dive into. Plenty of games coming out as well. There's F1 Manager coming out on August the 22nd, something like that. F1 Manager, definitely want to give that a blast. There's a couple of other games, who knows when they're coming out, of Baldur's Gate 3, that we're just keeping an eye on that, but that could be 2023 before that comes out. But there's still a few other little things in the pipeline that I'm just keeping my eye on and hoping that my schedule remains free for those precise dates. So there's lots to look forward to, game-wise and channel-wise, I think, for the rest of this year, to be honest. So that's the good thing. So it's just a case of getting through the games that I'm playing now so that I can start some new ones, but without rushing, because I don't rush, of course. So, yes, channel looking pretty good. Anything else I want to discuss right now, because it is getting rather long, this video? Not really. Well, there is a couple of little bits that I might want to discuss, but I'll save that for another video update. So yeah, anyway, I don't know how to sign this off really, but yeah, hope you enjoy what's on the channel at the moment. And I hope your 2022s are going better than mine. And let's just keep our fingers crossed that the rest of the year perks up a bit. So until next time, folks, I'll see you soon.